You're watching Let's Chat.
Let's face it, we're all aging. With every turn of the clock, we're all getting a little bit older, and in the back of our mind, there's this thought about, what am I going to do when I reach that certain age of retirement? Will I be able to retire in the lifestyle to which I am accustomed to now? The answer is maybe, and with the help of our next guest, the answer could be no. You could live in a better lifestyle than what you're accustomed to now, and this is Corey Rick. Corey is an author, he's a business guy, and he is here to talk about long-term care planning. First of all, Corey Rick, good to have you here. You're a long-term planning specialist. What is the first thing everybody needs to do when they're heading down this road? What's that first domino to kick over?
Well, Chip, thank you for having me on the show. I think the first thing that they have to do is get their questions answered about long-term care. You know, it's largely misunderstood. Many don't have all their questions answered, and so what they need to do is entertain the thought of talking to somebody knowledgeable so they can get their questions answered.
What is the biggest misconception about long-term care?
Well, one of the biggest misconceptions is that somebody else pays for it. And the truth is, you're on your own financially if you need this issue, if the long-term care issue and its associated challenges present itself to you. The government doesn't step in until you meet certain minimum income and asset levels as set forth by the state's Medicaid system.
And this is a little more difficult to do with every passing year. A lot of red tape when it comes to long-term planning.
There is, yes. And so one of the reasons that I wrote the book is that it is misunderstood. And like many folks out there probably this morning, you know, I had multiple experiences with it with my family. And my mom and dad didn't do the planning. And what we found out is if your mom and dad doesn't do the planning, the kids become the plan.
All right, this book you wrote here, it is appropriately enough called Long-Term Care Planning. And by the way, Rick has got Corey has got a whole raft of initials after his name. What led you to write the book? Not just your parents not doing the planning. There had to have been several other things that went into you writing this book.
Yeah, I think it is largely misunderstood, and I wanted to write a book where people could start a dialogue and start getting their questions answered on a topic that's really important. And you know, as I mentioned before, you know, my mom and dad didn't do it. My brother and sister and I became the plan, and so 25 years ago I decided to focus the rest of my career to solely focus on long-term care and help people figure out what it is and perhaps more importantly what it isn't.
And there's a lot more involved here than just the dollars and cents aspect of, in the case of your folks not doing long-term planning. This plays into your emotional well-being as well, doesn't it?
It does, and people are talking about the stock market and the fact that there's some all-time highs there in inflation. And one of the things that is kind of the pink elephant in the room is they're not really considering in many cases what their health is. And if they need long-term care, how are they going to pay for it? And so what are those issues? And so my clients that come to me, they say, hey, I think I'm going to live a long life. I think that if I live long enough, I might need some help. And I'm concerned about the emotional and physical damage it's going to do to the people that have to pick up the pieces and help me. And there's a secondary set of consequences, and it's financial. Something or somebody has to pay for it.
How has this book been received in talking with your clients from the folks who were in the situation you were in 20 or 25 years ago?
The reviews have been fantastic. I think many people, they want to do research. You know, we have a website which I'm told is very good. You know, they want to do their own research. They maybe want to meet the person and they maybe want to do some reading prior to meeting and talking to someone live. And the truth is, you know, my mom and dad are both gone, but everybody needs to get their questions answered on this. And you know, I treat everyone like I would expect people to treat my mom and dad if they were still here.
Very point well made. Point well made. Are you accepting new clients at this point?
Of course, yeah, sure. We help people all over the United States, Chip. And like I said, you know, 25 years ago, I decided this is what I need to do with the rest of my life, and to make sure that people understand it and get their questions answered.
And this has been obviously very self-fulfilling for you.
It has been. I think when I started, it was an idea that thankfully became a business. And there's just a lot of people that are scared of it, that don't have their questions answered. And really the first part of this is people understanding it, what it is, and perhaps maybe even more importantly, what it is not.
And it's also important to point out that Corey doesn't see you once and then you're done. You are available for follow-up appointments, whether it's email, phone call, or in person, and that says a lot. Corey, Rick, good to see you. Again, check out the book, Long-Term Planning. It is written by Corey, Rick, and Corey, we thank you so much for joining us, all right?